Verstappen needed a miracle to rejoin the fight, and McLaren delivered. Now the orange team is worried because they don't know how to stop the beast. Welcome, that's how you should be, to the 20th round of the Formula One World Championship, the Mexico City Grand Prix. Max was struggling in the title fight. McLaren's poor management and the Red Bull 21 Hours resurgence are giving Max a chance for one of the most epic comebacks in the category's history. And now we're heading to one of his best circuits to experience the Formula One party at the Autodromo Hermano Rodriguez. Even though it doesn't have its local hero, this year it will see a three-way battle for the title, with a lion that keeps striking at a McLaren desperately trying to finish off its rival and avoid a historic embarrassment. So the story of this race is set. A difficult circuit that historically can produce unexpected results. Night is falling on the McLaren team. If they don't stop Max's attack soon, the consequences will be ridiculous for them. Let's begin the preview of the 2025 Formula One Mexico City Grand Prix. The gap between Verstappen and the Drivers' Championship leader has dropped from 63 to 40 points with 5 rounds remaining. Given Max Verstappen's current form and McLaren's recent decline, nothing is certain for the season finale at the Jazz Marina circuit. But before that, we must go through the Grand Prix, the categories party, and one of the most complex events on the calendar. And you could say it's a unique challenge in the season, spiced up by the passion of fans who create one of the best atmospheres on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. Mexico joins the Formula One calendar to add excitement to a world championship that still has much to offer before its final rounds. So to start off today's preview, we'll begin by getting to know the venue that will host this 20th round and bring the Formula One fiesta to life. Mexico City, Mexico. Its circuit is the Autodromo Hermano Rodriguez Permanent Track, created in 1962, previously known as Autodromo Magdalena Michuca. 4.3 kilometers long, 71 laps, 17 turns. 3 drag reduction system activation zones, but only 1 potential area for overtaking maneuvers. Characterized by being a technically challenging circuit with a huge elevation and extremely hard braking zones. The first sector is the fastest on the Mexican track. With just 3 corners and 2 long straights, speed and braking are crucial. At this part of the Y circuit, both straights are drag reduction system activation zones. The main one is the circuit's longest at 1.3 kilometers. The device activates just after leaving the pit lane and stays on until the braking zone at turn 1. It's the largest zone and is very long, offering the track's best overtaking opportunity. After braking hard for turn 1, the drivers will have to take this chicane aiming for a good exit, because the second straight is also a drag reduction system zone. It activates a few meters after the corner exit and stays on until the braking zone for turn 4. Its distance is much shorter, which makes it a less favorable area for overtaking, although it's not impossible to do so. If you get a good exit and better tires, you can definitely try some maneuvers, because sector number 1 becomes key if you're looking to overtake. It's the area with the most opportunities on this Mexican track. The second sector is technical, but I would say it's not the most technical part of the circuit. It has 8 corners, both fast and slow, that challenge cars in various ways. It starts with the slow turns of corners 4 and 5, which are 90-degree turns extremely slow, that test the traction as you exit them. But after exiting the Rebaque chicane, the cars tackle the challenging S's of the Mexican circuit, the only high-speed corners on this track. Linked turns that force you to go left, right, and left, aiming for a precise line, where the car's aerodynamic support is key to taking each and every one of them the right way. Getting a good entry here is crucial. A mistake in the first corner ruins the rest and is hard to fix. And at the exit of the corners, the drag reduction system is activated for the last time on this small straight that leads to turn number 12. Due to its small size, it's mainly used to close in on rivals rather than for overtaking, as it offers few passing opportunities. With this, the sector ends, leading to the final part of the Mexican circuit. The third sector is the slowest in the Mexican circuit. 5 out of its 6 turns are slow, and the section inside the stadium consists of extremely tight corners. This part is a very low-speed ride. Turn 12's entry is tricky, and if underestimated, can easily send a driver into the wall. From here, look for good traction and align through the 4 sole corners to exit. But the exit of the last corner is even more important, especially when you're chasing another rival, because it leads onto the main straight of this circuit. A good exit here with enough traction and staying close to your rival can give you a chance to overtake at the end of the straight. But here, with this, the last corner, the sector, and the tour of the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez come to an end. The Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez is an unusual circuit because it's a very fast track, but that's due to the 2,200 meters of altitude where it's located. Mexico City makes the air density lower, and as a result, maximum aerodynamic loads are needed, making elements like the drag reduction system less effective. But it also tends to bring a lot of surprises, especially in the midfield group. In summary, speed and brakes are key in the first sector. In the second, brakes and aerodynamic support, and in the third, traction when exiting the circuit's corners. Other points to consider: despite wide runoff areas, this track still has dangerous spots where a hard crash could trigger the safety car. Since its return to the category in 2015, the safety car has only come out 4 times, and in one of those it was due to a red flag. So it's not common for the safety car to appear, with up to a 45% chance of coming out during the Grand Prix. The most dangerous part of this track is the chicanes in Sector 2. High-speed corners, where a car can lose control from a bad line or single-seater failure. The driver will hit the wall at high speed, making the impact very violent. Returning to the most dangerous spot on the track, where any accident will almost always neutralize the race. On this circuit, brakes and traction are tested but not heavily, as there are few hard braking zones or sharp corners. Still, they're essential in setups, and the cars usually run with high downforce setups because of the situation I mentioned regarding the altitude of Mexico City. To manage engine cooling and air density, the cars use Monaco-level downforce on a track as fast as Monza. Despite 3 drag reduction system zones, only one main spot allows overtaking, and that's found at turn number 1 in combination with the main straight. To overtake, you need a strong exit from the last corner and follow your rival down the straight with drag reduction system to try to match the speed, and if necessary, brake later at turn number 1 to try to gain some positions. However, despite the distance and this huge straight, drag reduction system is less effective on this circuit than on others. Therefore, cars often struggle to chase and overtake each other. Therefore, it's very easy to get stuck in trains of much slower cars because pulling off different maneuvers ends up becoming a potentially complicated situation. That's why I'm saying it's crucial to get better traction and stay very close out of the last corner here. Because drag reduction system is ineffective and following cars is tough, especially in the last sector, overtaking difficulty on this track is 4. Very difficult, making Mexico another one of those circuits where you need to qualify well if you want the best possible result at the end of the race. In Mexico's pit lane, you drive 80 km/h, making transit fast. Its entry and exit are parallel to the circuit, not requiring any detour, either to enter or to leave it. A tire change takes about 22 seconds, including a full stop. And tire wear on this circuit is quite low. The asphalt is not very abrasive and there's no stress on the tires or lateral loads. It's a track with minimal degradation, known for enabling one-stop races year after year. And it's very likely, given Pirelli's current situation, that things won't change this year. And for this Grand Prix, the step tire range returns and we'll have the C2, C4 and C5 tires available for the drivers to use at the Mexico City Grand Prix. The challenge of the Mexican track lies in its geographical location, which makes it a real headache for teams and engineers, in order to properly set up the cars. It's a very challenging circuit in its own way, but its difficulty for overtaking makes qualifying well. Maintaining your position over the 830 meters to the turn 1 braking zone is crucial for a good result at this circuit. Turning back, the Autódromo Hermano Rodriguez is a complex track and difficult to master, both on the circuit and from the garage itself. McLaren is under pressure, as the 104-point gap since San Bordas has shrunk to just 40 points. And seeing the current form of Max and the whole team right now, McLaren makes it clear that if the walking guys don't respond, they'll face their biggest embarrassment ever. In Mexico, the orange team wants to stop Max. Now, it's about whether they have the tools to do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, with this interesting outlook, it's time to see what awaits teams and drivers for this event at the Mexico City Grand Prix. Night is falling for McLaren. While their constructors' title is secure, it's now uncertain if either driver will be world champion given Max Verstappen's threat. They're coming off an extremely difficult Grand Prix where a double retirement after a risky maneuver by Oscar Piastri has made their weekend much more complicated. Since they didn't get a single piece of data from the sprint race, they paid the price on Sunday. This has once again kept them from winning. Questions are again raised about how the team that dominated until the Dutch Grand Prix can no longer stop Max Verstappen. It would be wrong to say they made the car worse, as they abandoned it some time ago. This abandonment, along with their rivals' constant improvements, has greatly reduced many of their advantages. Thanks to repeated driver mistakes since the Italian Grand Prix, Max has cut a 104-point gap to 40 in just 4 races. McLaren currently has no response except to hope. It's not a joke, as Stella, the team principal, said they won't bring updates to any race. And McLaren's hope lies in exploiting their 2 strengths, which are still their advantage in medium-speed corners and their control over tire degradation. That's why they think Brazil, Qatar and Abu Dhabi will be good circuits for them. But given Red Bull's current state, especially Max Verstappen's, even they can't be certain anymore. What is certain is that McLaren needs a good reset and a good result to calm things down again. McLaren also wants Piastri to regain his top form and help secure better results in their title fight. I wouldn't say they're running as favorites, since this circuit has long been dominated by their main rival. Leaving the Mexican Grand Prix confident in the car's pace is crucial for McLaren to stay in contention for Abu Dhabi. Asking the referee for the time, or in the worst case, having Verstappen make them go through one of the biggest embarrassments ever seen in Formula One history. Mercedes took a test in the United States but unfortunately didn't pass. They were the 4th car, outperformed by all rivals on an unfavorable track with conditions that further hurt performance. But Mercedes hopes to perform better in Mexico, on a circuit whose characteristics may be beneficial for them and where they expect to have a performance more similar to what was seen in Singapore. Especially because the fight for the constructors' runner-up is heating up and the gap with Ferrari and Red Bull is minimal. We'll see if in Mexico they can turn around the situation they experienced there. The Formula One race. The Formula race, the Formula race, the Formula One race. The Formula race, the Formula One race. The Formula race, the Formula One race, the Formula One race, the Formula One race. If they succeed, they could get another good result. Though victory seems distant, this keeps them in contention for the Constructors' World Championship runner-up. Red Bull is clearly back and can win at any remaining circuit, even if it benefits the characteristics of their rivals' cars. Since only Max Verstappen is in contention, McLaren drivers taking points from each other gives the 4-time world champion a better chance to aggressively close the gap to his rivals. Mexico has always been a very favorable track for the Dutchman, a circuit where he has a special feeling, and along with the incredible form he's in right now, it's hard not to see it. Favorites to win this weekend, where even Andrés Stella, the team principal of McLaren, has already said that there is absolutely nothing that makes him think the Red Bull Max Verstappen duo can't win on their own at every Grand Prix for the rest of the season. Verstappen knows they have to be perfect from here to the end of the season if they want to be champions. Right now, winning the World Championship isn't entirely up to him, even if he wins every remaining race. But the hardest part has already been done by the men of McLaren to open the door for Max and his 5th championship. Additionally, Helmut Marko said they still have a surprise plan, which could be another upgrade to the car that helps secure its potential and make it the fastest single-seater on the grid. If it isn't already, the truth is that it's hard not to see them as favorites this weekend. But they know their work in the last 5 races must be nearly perfect if they want to give Max that chance to leave Abu Dhabi as the Formula One world champion. Williams missed out on a big points haul due to the crash caused by Sainz. Antonelli will start this race with a 5-place penalty, putting him at a disadvantage. They aim to repeat their previous strong performances and secure results quickly. 5th place in the constructors' standings at a circuit where they expect to do well. The gap in the standings is still quite large, and Williams sees points as very possible at this circuit, so we'll see if they manage to get them. But the opportunities should be there for them to keep consolidating that 5th position, which is crucial in their battle for top spot among the rest in the constructors' standings. Racing Bulls is coming off a very tough weekend, where they left without scoring any points, neither in the sprint nor in the main race. At a crucial time, especially for Hachar, who had one of his worst weekends all year. At a time when promoting him to Red Bull to replace Yuki Tsunoda is being considered. Arvin Lindblad will drive for Red Bull in Friday's practice, and rumors suggest his signing may be announced soon. Returning to this weekend, the Bulls aim to use their balanced car to regain momentum and keep earning points. This weekend, Aston Martin missed a chance for valuable points in Austin with the accident that Alonso had at the start of the sprint. And in the end, they only left with 1 point from the last race, which is quite insufficient to get closer to Racing Bulls and Williams, who didn't have good weekends. Mexico's a track where Aston Martin might have a hard time scoring points, because even though the aerodynamic loads are high, aerodynamic efficiency is still very important. The car's poor aerodynamic efficiency makes speed crucial on most parts of the Mexican circuit. So, in theory, this shouldn't be as complicated as Italy or Azerbaijan, or as Las Vegas will be in a few weeks. Although Alonso has previously commented very negatively, saying he expected them to be at the back of the pack at the Autódromo Hermano Rodríguez. The midfield group is usually volatile and surprises can happen, so we'll see if that occurs. Definitely a tough weekend for them at the Mexican Autodrome. Sauber got a real boost in their fight for 8th in the constructors' standings thanks to Hülkenberg's points. And in the end, the characteristics of the American track suited him very well, particularly Nico Hülkenberg. Mexico's goal remains the same. Earn points on a track that once again seems tough. They might manage it, it doesn't seem impossible. That's why Sauber will try to secure their position quickly against any challenge from Haas. And the threat this poses in the Constructors' Championship. The Americans shocked the United States by unveiling a full upgrade package at the race. It may seem pointless with only 5 races left this season and new technical rules arriving in 2026. But within the team, they want to assess if the car's development is on track and better understand their work model. There is an evolution in car development to bring models to 2026. After we adjust to these improvements, we'll see if the pace increases since the battle for 8th place continues. Haas wants to get out of the place where they currently are. For Mexico, it's the same as always this season unless chaos occurs. Alpino should be able to see the points so easily, especially considering that speed is still his Achilles heel. With the team already focused on 2026 and just 5 races left before becoming a customer team, we'll see if an opportunity arises, but it seems unlikely since a Rodriguez brothers car is rarely chaotic. No surprises are expected in the weather this weekend to make the Grand Prix more interesting. Complicated for now. The chance of rain is only 1% for all 3 days of the Mexico City Grand Prix, and moderately high temperatures are expected, ranging between 24 and 26 degrees, but with full sun and no weather threats in sight. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for a dry race as we take on this new round of the Formula One World Championship. Finally, let's end this preview with some historical facts about the competition and the Mexican circuit, so you can take some trivia home with you from this weekend. The Autódromo Hermano Rodríguez is the only venue in Mexico included in official Formula One calendars, which has its current name, thanks to Pedro and Ricardo Rodríguez, Mexican Formula One drivers who died in separate races. Because of their motorsports legacy, not just in Formula One this circuit was given its name. A track built in 1962 debuted on the Formula One calendar in 1963. Many of you know the chaotic context of this track's inauguration, but I'll remind those who don't. The first race at this circuit was the endurance event known as the 1,000 Kilometers of Mexico. The first major international event it hosted was an unofficial Formula One Grand Prix at the then named Magdalena Michuca racetrack. Unfortunately, during the Grand Prix practice sessions, Mexican driver Ricardo Rodríguez crashed at the banked curve in an accident that sadly claimed his life. The track joined the official Formula One calendar in 1963. And this Grand Prix has had 3 different stages, where each one has had a different version of the track. The first stage was from 1963 to 1970, the second from 1986 to 1992, and the most recent after a 23-year gap. It has occurred from 2015 to now, with Mexico set to stay for at least 3 more years by contract. On the official Formula One calendar, Mexico has had few drivers in the top category of motorsport, and only 2 have managed at least 1 victory in the category. Pedro Rodríguez de la Vega was the first to achieve this, winning the 1967 South African Grand Prix and the 1970 Belgian Grand Prix. He was considered a true prodigy in motorsport, especially because of his incredible and talented driving when there were rainy conditions on the track. The other is Sergio Checo Perez, the most successful Mexican driver in the category's history and a 6-time Grand Prix winner. He's the top-performing Mexican in his home Grand Prix, with 2 third-place finishes. And in addition, he is the driver who has finished highest in the driver's standings with the runner-up position he achieved in the 2023 season. Red Bull is the most successful team in this Grand Prix, winning 5 times from 2017 to 2023. Finnish driver Valtteri Bottas set the fastest lap in 2021, breaking the track record with a time of 1:17.714 in his W11. Maximilian Verstappen is the top winner of this competition, with 5 victories from 2017 to 2023. Being the king of this circuit and, on his own, the top historical winner of the Mexican Grand Prix. These are the historical facts of this Grand Prix and this circuit, and that's the last of today's preview. Quick announcement before ending this video. Some have asked for my thoughts on the Formula 1 movie. I know it came out a while ago, but I don't usually cover this topic on my channel, so I didn't pay much attention to it. But our friends from Studio Mesli invited us to their podcast to talk about the Formula 1 movie. So if you want to know my opinion, I invite you to watch the video that I'll leave in the description so you can check it out. My opinion about the movie, whether I liked it or not, and other specific details about my thoughts on the Formula 1 movie. I invite you to visit Studio Mesli's channel and watch this video, where we discuss the movie. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the 2025 Formula 1 Mexican Grand Prix preview. So I ask, do you think anyone can stop Max Verstappen in this Grand Prix? Will the McLaren men rise again, or will they keep losing points? Also, let me know your top 3. Who do you think will be the first 3 drivers on the podium at the end of this Sunday's Mexico City Grand Prix? Let me know all your opinions in the comments section. With nothing more to add, I say goodbye and ask you to give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so you know when I'm uploading a new video, and share this with your friends. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter using the links in the video description. See you this Sunday. You already know. The summary at the end of the Mexico City Grand Prix. Thank you for tuning in. See you later.